How'd we do? Oh, wow. We got like 5 seconds here. We're in. We're in here. Okay, there we go. Boom. We are live. All right, starting now. Okay, welcome everybody to the wonderful 9 steps to social customer service. We have a masterclass with Paolo Fabrizio. How did I do?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Abraham. Welcome, everybody. Great pronunciation.
I want to get that pronunciation going. I love the Italian accent. It's just a beautiful accent. It's a people full of joy. It's what I have found. Italians are very joyous people. So and here we have our very own Paolo, who is going to tell us about the social customer service. We have introduced something new this time. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to cough for a moment here. I'm gonna mute myself.
That's not the kind of news maybe all the audience is waiting for. You're cold.
Yeah, that was it. It was my cough was something. No,
that's new.
We're doing that hashtag for since we're doing the social media. We do have a hashtag. If you are having problems with getting onto the chat, and I've learned that there is an issue there with some people trying to get onto chat wing. So we made a hashtag and we're monitoring the chat. I'm going to be multitasking today because for some reason Paolo had a little issue with his computer. So I'm sharing his slides. So I'll be working that, checking the chat, checking the emails. And if you are more comfortable sending me an email, I'm watching the email at abraham@cxsuccesssummit.com. I can put that in the chat so you can see that. And you can send your questions in that way. You can send your questions in through Twitter or via this chat here. So we're trying to make it more available for you to be able to get your questions in, because it's really important that you've taken your time to come here and you have an opportunity to speak with an expert in their field, which if you would call them and have them come to you, or you went to them or spoke to them on the phone, they would charge you a lot of money. And you're getting this here for free. So take advantage of it. That's what we want you to take advantage of it. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you to be able to succeed. And we're offering you this for free. So please, take advantage of it. Okay. All right. So I am going to introduce here, I just introduced Paolo here. He's going to take it over. He'll tell you a little bit about himself, and then he's going to tell me when to switch to slides. So, we'll see how I do. Okay. So go ahead, Paolo.
All right. Yeah, well, you can switch to slides as I introduce myself. No problem. All right, thank you. So my name is Paolo Fabrizio. For those who do not know myself, I've been working many years within companies. I worked so many years within insurance companies, covering many different customer service roles. I started with so many years ago in an insurance online startup, and then I changed many different roles, but all these roles were facing customers, dealing with customers' queries, dealing with customers' needs. And recently, in the latest 5 years, I changed career, and now I'm a social customer service consultant, trainer, and speaker. And so I'm very happy today to be here with you and focusing on a strategic approach to social customer service. That's why I titled my slides 9 steps, because 9 are the steps that are the main steps to be followed to really create an efficient and effective strategy to introduce digital social channels within the customer service and contact center environment. So as Abraham just said, so feel free during this session to ask questions, to send your tweets, to send your emails, and I will be very happy to answer to all your questions. So we can start, Abraham. If you want to go to the next slide, we have it just as very brief agenda, what we're going to do together tonight. Right, perfect. So we've got just 3 points, a very brief intro. So why are we talking tonight about social customer service? Why are we here? Who is the social customer? So thinking about the social customer service, we must focus on customers' needs and new customers' expectations. These expectations and behaviors have changed dramatically during the latest 5 or 6 years, since customers started using social networks also to ask for support, contacting brands to get assistance. Then we will move to the very core of this hour together. So we will dive into the 9 steps of social customer service, and I'll tell you in advance that during these steps I will ask you questions. So feel free to ask me questions, but I'll give you some questions because I think they will be very useful and valuable for you to move from theory to practice as we face each step. And then at the end, but not only, but also during this masterclass, we got our Q&A. So are we ready to go? So let's go. We can go to the next one, Abraham. So let's move and let's talk about what's happened in the latest 20 years. I remember in the mid-90s when I started my career in insurance that as for customer service without face-to-face contact, the main channel was phone, was telephone. No mobile phones, just phone. And there was just only channel, that kind of channel. And then after a few years we got the first emails. And I remember in the late 90s that as we started in our company to receive a growing number of emails, incoming emails, that me and other colleagues asked our boss, shall we really answer to all incoming emails? And we were pretty negative about that because we thought, okay, we are already answering all incoming phone calls. Why should we answer also emails? Well, the boss was right, and they said, okay, I don't care about that. We need to answer to all incoming queries. And so we are moving to to the current days where we got a number of different channels, like different layers, like phone, email, website, chat, social networks, and more recently, instant messaging apps. So today's customer, we all, and you as well, have got an incredible choice, incredible number of options when it comes to trying to get in touch with a brand to get assistance. So the first difference compared to the previous years is that now the customer is much more informed. He's got a lot of information. Then he's got a vast array of options in terms of different channels that he can use or she can use to get in touch with us, to ask questions. And accordingly, using digital, mobile, and especially social networks have changed his or her expectations, not only behaviors. So this is the first radically shift and change that we need to focus on in order to understand why we're talking today about social customer service and why it's becoming more and more important, not only in United States or UK, but also here in continental Europe, in Italy, where I'm from, or also in France and Germany. So it's growing pretty rapidly, finally. So if we think about the social customer ourselves, we can go to the next one, to the next slide, and we can see what are we doing now using social networks. So apart from getting in touch with friends, we do 3 specific actions when we use social networks. In fact, on the bottom of this slide, you see 3 different arrows with three colors, but we'll wait for a second before showing you what's the meaning of each arrow. So we got 3 actions because we tend to share our customer experiences online. So we tend to share our good or bad experiences using social networks to amplify our frustration or our happiness, regardless we've been digitally in touch with brands or not. So the most interesting thing is that regardless we've had a social conversation with a brand or we just visited a shop, we tend then afterwards to use social networks to publicly express and show and share our customer experience. That's very important. We tend to do it if we've got a good customer experience. We tend to do it even more if we've had a bad customer experience. So the first action we are doing as customers is using social networks as amplifiers, okay, to amplify our voice. So by doing this, we influence other customers. And that's another important thing. That's why also the same customers, we ourselves, taking great consideration what other customers say or write on social networks. In fact, you know, a vast majority of people read reviews before deciding whether to buy a product or a service. If we think, for instance, about, you know, searching for a hotel room or buying a flight ticket or choose a bank account or an insurance company or a telco, we get a lot of information online. We talk with our friends, colleagues, and of course, and relatives, but we also take in great considerations all the reviews written by other customers. So we rely on other customer experiences. And the other important thing about this topic is that we rely on customers' experience written by strangers. So while we write customers' experience on social networks, most of the times we do not know nothing about the person or the people that have written these such reviews, but nevertheless we take in great consideration. And then we got on the right hand side of the slide the very important and crucial action, which is social customer service. We write to the brands, we engage with the brands. So if you can just click on, please, Abraham, we'll see what's written on the 3 arrows on this slide. So we get to the very core of this slide. No, that's one. Right, so we've got 3 actions. We've got sharing, we do share our experiences. We read other customer experience, but we also want to engage with brands. We want to have a conversation with brands. We want to feel free to ask information. And also to vent our frustrations, to make complaints, to write complaints online. And we expect that brands will be able to reply in a timely and efficient fashion. And that's the big issue, because still many brands are not prepared and sometimes are not fully aware of the need to give the same importance of questions, incoming questions via social channels. Because when we send a question or we write a complaint on a Facebook brand page, we do it publicly. So many other people can read what we have written, can read if the brand has replied, what has replied, when did the brand reply, and most of all, how did they reply. And you know, and that's another important way that other customers use. So they judge the brand according to their public social customer service before deciding whether to become customers, remain customers, or never become customers. So we can go on after this slide, because I think we're ready to focus to the next moment, which are the questions, the unanswered question. So I call it the discrimination of social channels, because we assume that most of the brands tend to be efficient or strive to be efficient when it comes to respond to customers using the phone or emails. Okay, that's common practice, we can say that. But sometimes it happens that the same customers that use the Facebook brand page to send the questions, sometimes he or she doesn't get a response. So I ask you, how would you feel if you send a question via social networks or just questions and you get no response? You just be ignored, totally ignored. And the other question is, how would you feel if I tell you that the guy who is ignoring you received money from you and you paid that guy to give you answers when you need it? So that's how many customers still feel every day when they send questions via social networks, especially Facebook or Twitter, and they do not get, unfortunately, any reply. And the problem is that they're dissatisfied, but the problem is that the brands are ignoring not only customers, but the impact of the amplification of their silence with all the rest of followers, their followers and customers' followers. So that's very negative. But so we got, on one hand, we got this issue for those brands who are not ready yet to deal with customers using social networks. But we also got an opportunity. But before going to the opportunity, let me talk about the main reasons, the main drivers of disloyalty. So we can just see a couple of examples. If we go to the next slide, please. Talking about being ignored. Let me have just some water. Thank you, Abraham. So here's a couple of questions.
Paolo, do you have a moment for a couple of questions that are being brought into the
yes.
chat? Great.
Sure.
I have here Nate from CX Accelerator. He says he's still, and it's about what you're talking about, is I still feel like 90% of the time I try to get support on Twitter, the brand just says message, call, or email me here. Classic channel switch, he says.
Right.
And that's pretty much what you're talking about. And then Holly she says hello. She's glad to be here. Very interesting statistics. Why do you think more people share negative feedback? Because it elicits more emotional response?
Sorry, I didn't understand the second one. Can you repeat the second question, please?
Sure, my pleasure. It says, she asks, why do you think more people share negative feedback? And she adds, because it elicits more emotional response?
Oh, yes. I'll start with the second one, right? Most of the people tend to vent their frustration because they think and they're aware that they're using public channels. So they hope to be more powerful, letting more and more people know what that brand did wrong. So their intent is to cause a sort of damage. Letting many people know as possible how did that brand behave in a negative way. The first question instead was about, I don't remember that, sorry. What was the first one?
No problem. She says, why do you think the people share negative feedback? Or is that the question? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was my answer. So the first one was another one.
That was Nate. He says that I still feel like 90% of the time I try to get support on Twitter.
All right.
Brand just says message, call, email me here, or it's a
right.
It's a
I can answer to this question using the next slide, because in this slide we're showing unanswered tweets, right? So we got people saying being ignored by Xbox is negative, bad customer service, fraud. And the other experience is another interesting thing, is another guy complaining about a physical experience in a Pizza Express restaurant, but complaining then online, right? But both of them are complaining about being ignored. But back to the first questions, we can move to the next slide, and I'll show you that the question includes one of the main drivers of disloyalty. One of the main things that make people complain when they get in touch with brands using social networks is those brands who ask the customers to switch to another channel. So I write you a tweet, I ask you an information using Twitter, and the brand says, okay, I got your question, can you please send us an email, can you please call us? So that causes frustration, and I know why. Because we don't want to waste our time. So I always say that one of the most important currencies for all customers in the world is time. So all those brands who are able to save customers time got great customer satisfaction, regardless the digital or non-digital channels are they using. But if you waste customers' time, you got not only frustration, you got distance between you and him or her, and that caused a frustration that becomes disloyalty. So if I send you, if I call you on the phone, nobody will tell me, okay, can you please send me an email? Why should I send you an email? So if as I get in touch with you, brand, I assume as customer that I'm talking to the brand and I'm free to ask you the question. Then it's up to you to have a great internal communication or good tools that you're able to answer my question using the same channel. So what the customer wants is I decide which channel to use. I send you the question, you get the question, and you answer me using the same channel. Otherwise, that's not good. I want to, I don't want to waste my time. Other drivers of dissatisfaction and also disloyalty is anytime we need to repeat or we need to try to get in contact with a brand. So maybe you try to call a call center 2 or 3 times and you get in touch just the 3rd time. So you got 2 negative attempts and then you just get in touch on the 3rd time. And then maybe you've been asked to switch to another channel. Or another negative driver is when you get in touch with a customer service assistant, whether it's via Facebook, email, or phone, but he or she says, I would love to help you, but for this specific topic, you need to interact with my colleague, James. But James is not here at the moment. So can you please try to tweet, call, or send an email tomorrow? And no, that shouldn't work. So another key to have success in customer service is to be, of course, well organized, to reduce customers' efforts, but also to be proactive. So it's not just organizations, it's not just digital platforms, and we'll see during our journey today that we'll talk about platforms, but it's also being proactive and say, okay, I'm not able to give you the answer at the moment. I need to get in touch with my colleague James, who is responsible and is an expert on that matter. I'll do everything to get in contact with him and let you know the answer within tomorrow or within 3 hours, what is necessary. Of course, without creating unnecessary expectations. So as we make a promise, I'll contact you, I'll call you back tomorrow, it should be tomorrow, right? That's right. So we can go on and we just focus on the opportunity of social customer service. Otherwise, we might think that social customer service is just a series of hurdles that brands need to overcome. So can you please, Abraham, go to the next one, please? And we see another important stat that made many brands invest in social customer service, because there is a growing number of brands also here in Europe and Italy investing on social networks, social customer service. Because the same customers who sometimes feel frustration when they get no answers, when they're ignored, or when they get late response on social, or not good responses such as, oh, can you please send us an email? When they're treated well, when they got very prompt answer, efficient, and they got very fast solutions, they're happy about their very social customer service experience. They're willing to be loyal and to spend more. And we all know that a very a satisfied customer is a very good thing, because he or she will be open to consider to buy more products, more services, right? So we got a lot of options to choose when we want to integrate social networks into our customer service or call center operations. So let's go to the next one and we dive into social customer service. So when I'm asked, Paolo, how can you define social customer service? Instead of using and writing many words, I just use images, because images, of course, especially for complex concepts, are more direct. So we got, what's social customer service? It's a customer support done using social networks, especially Facebook, Twitter, but also we are seeing the rising of instant messaging apps. So like instant messaging, Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. And we got a customer in need of help, that it's using more and more mobile devices to get in touch. So we need also to consider that we're facing not only a social but also a mobile customer, and we need to be able to deliver a seamless, excellent experience regarding the channel that he or she will use to get in touch with us. So we can go to the first step of this adventure. And I'll sip some water. All right.
Paolo, you want to answer a couple of questions? We have some that are coming through. Or do you want to wait?
Oh, yes, I can answer.
Okay.
Let's move to the next slide, and meanwhile, I'm happy to answer the questions. It's good.
Okay, great. Okay, hang on, get that. Great.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. All right. Let's see, where are we at here? We have, okay, great. We have M. Montalvo. I don't know what your first name is, but I'm just going to call you M. So it says, all right. He was commenting on Nate's from CX Accelerator about that comment about the 90% of the time he tries to get support. Right. The brand just says message, call me, email. He says he would like to change that where he works, and that the company that does our social responses usually responds with this. In other words, probably what the complaint is. He says my team answers behind the scenes. The rest of the public does not benefit from our answers. Suggestions to change this mindset.
Well, yes, that's very common. I think that when you need to change mindset, you need to move to the top management, and to be able to show how negative is maybe a current customer experience. So what are the consequences if we still answer our customers, can you please send us an email, when we reply to our social networks, and at the same time showing the benefits if we change the way we answer, if we're able to give an effective solution, giving the answer on the same channel. So my suggestion is to show not only the negative effects of such canned answers that move the customers from one channel to another one and all the frustration, but at the same time show the benefit, incoming benefit, to handle the conversation within the same channel and give good solutions and good responses in the same channel. And I think that the person that just asked the questions will find very interesting hints and tips as we talk about the point 4 and 5, the social customer service team, talking about hiring and training, because there's also a hiring and training issue and topic to be covered. So let's go first to the first step. So before deciding which channel shall we integrate within our call center or customer service, what I always say my clients is to first let's sit down around our table, let's take our time, and let's define our goal. So why do you want to integrate social networks? You want to do that because other brands are doing that, because your competitors just started doing that, or do you have other reasons that are moving you towards the idea of doing social customer service? So I got a few questions for you to let you think about the possible goals that you may have. So we can go straight to the next one, because I want to use the questions to let you think about the goals that you might have when you start such journey. So why social customer service for you, for your brand? So you may have, let me tell you, you may have more than just one of these goals or examples. So do you want to increase overall customer satisfaction, or do you want to use social customer service to increase retention or reduce churn? Or do you want to reduce the average cost per conversation? Because we all know that handling phone conversations is much more expensive, than handling tweets or social conversations. Or would you like to move the volume, so gradually reduce the volume of incoming emails or incoming phone calls, and slowly rise the volume on other digital channels? Or if you may also want to increase customer assistant productivity, because if your team is well trained and they got the right tools, they may be able to respond to more people via Facebook or Twitter in the same time frame, comparing to a phone call or an email. So you may want also to increase productivity. So I gave you here four tips, four ideas to think on, to think, because I want you to think about firstly on the goal. So first set your goals, your strategic goals when you trying to introduce social customer service. Don't focus on channels. Start with your goals. Then we can move to the next one, please, which is channels. Is that right, Abraham? Are we going to talk about channels?
You want me to go to the next slide right now?
Yeah.
Okay, here it comes.
Oh no, yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure. So we got social listening. So before we set our goals, before choosing the channels, we need to listen to our customers. So we got our goals, but do these goals are aligned to our customers' current needs? So the first thing we need to do is to use platforms that are not also digital platforms to engage with customers, but the first step is to use that digital platforms to do social listening, to listen to what's been said about our brands right now. And that's why I love this quote by Simon Sinek, about the importance of listening, but also how do we need to use listening. So we're talking about listening public conversation. So if our customers are using Facebook or Twitter, we just need tools that enable us to listen to them. And so we need, first of all, to know where shall we listen. So we can go to the next slide, please, because we got two main areas where we need to listen. So we got social networks on the left-hand side of this slide. So listen what our customers are saying using Facebook, Twitter, or also online forums. And then on the other side, on the right-hand side, we got review sites, specific review sites like Yelp or Trustpilot, which are used by customers to rate specifically a brand. Let me tell you about Trustpilot. Trustpilot is a Danish review site that's been used by many customers all over the world, also in Italy, and you can rate a brand from 1 up to 5 stars, and also you as a brand, you can claim your brand and check all the incoming reviews and interact with customers using that tool, and it's a private tool. So you need to monitor not only social networks, not only online forums, but also specific review sites. So where also, as we know where to listen, what shall you listen? Let's go to the next one. So here's another of options and ideas for you. So when you do social listening, you can listen to what are your customers saying about your brand? What are they appreciating about your brand? What do they like about your brand, about your service, about your products? What do they most frequently complain about or are happy about? So listen to get insights and feedbacks, whether they're negative or they're positive, just to get as many as possible and the most frequent ones. So learn from your customers, and not only as for what they're having, so what do they complain about or what they're happy about, but what they would like to have. Would they like to have a different service? Would they maybe they'd like to interact with you with social networks, with a specific social networks? And then listen to your competitors. So use the same tool, do some social listening. So what our competitors are behaving using social networks? Are they doing good or bad social customer service? How are they handling social conversations? So learn also from your competitors doing social customer service, and learn how are they dealing and behaving with their customers on social, and listen to to your competitors' customers, because your competitors' customers today may become your customers tomorrow. So if you're able to listen and intercept what they do not like about your competitors, you got another very insightful information to build or resize or change your products and services to attract and get new customers. So let's go to the next one, please. And we're talking about channels. Now we're ready to choose, because we set our goals, we did some social listening, we listened to our customers. Now we're ready to decide which channels shall we integrate. So we got two main areas. We got self-service channels, so we can use our website to provide our customers many information and many answers to prevent our customers to ask them. So we, in a proactive way, we give a lot of easy information with knowledge bases, with FAQ pages, dynamic FAQ pages. We use maybe our blog to give to create content which prevent customers to ask our questions. And in this area of self-service, we try to give valuable information, maybe that are enough for some of our customers to let them say, okay, we don't need to ask this kind of information because we already got them, easily got on their website. And on the other side, we got all the interactions and conversations, the assisted customer service, whether we're providing customer service via email, phone, social networks, apps, or whatever. So then I suggest you to, at this step, to consider not just one or the other option. You may also decide to introduce, for instance, Twitter as social customer service channel, because you realize, you did a survey with your customers and you realize that most of your customers are actively using Twitter. And also Twitter is aligned with your goals that you set on the first step. But at the same time, you may also decide to work to improve your knowledge base on your website, to reduce calls, incoming calls, always referring to the same kind of topic of information that you can also transform into information and avoid questions. I always like to say that the best answer that we can give is the one that we didn't even need to give, because the customers already got the answer. Okay, we can go to the next one.
Wait, you want to answer questions, or you want to continue?
Yes, just ask me, because otherwise I go straight like, okay.
Okay, so
I'm happy to answer.
I have a quickie here. It's from Quasi. He asked, can we get the slides after the session?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Okay, so what I do, Quasi, I always put them, so far everyone except for one let us get the slides, and I put them on the, when you see the replay, there'll be a button right under the replay. You can pick up the slides and download those there, so we'll make it easy for you. Okay, so let's go back up, because there was a lot of questions that came in actually, and you're getting some good reviews here. Nate's telling you, hey, this is great stuff, that you're trying to make social a more meaningful channel. So Nate's giving you some thumbs up over here. And then we have Jamie here. Yeah, we have Jamie here. He's from Hawaii. So aloha, Jamie. And wait a minute, okay. So he says it's a great topic, and he's working at a call center with the responsibility to respond to all inquiries. If there is an efficient software to use to handle incoming inquiries from all channels. Do you have some?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We'll be talking about during the step number 8, talking about digital omni-channel platform. So we go straight, and I'll be happy to focus on that.
All right, Jamie. So we got you covered. Let's see here. Ricardo, he says, unfortunately, many companies around the globe still passing people from people to people, and no human is taking responsibility to solve customer issues. Is any channel, especially here in the European soil? Not quite sure what the question is there, Ricardo. You might want to, can you clear that one up? Did you understand that one, Paolo?
Well, maybe Ricardo does mean that he wants to find a solution in a specific channel. Did I get it right?
I'm not sure. Ricardo, can you get that one a little cleared up there?
Yes, please.
Okay, and then what do we got here? We have also here, Ricardo comes with another one. He says, the point here is how far your company should go with different channels. When can when it can be hard to deliver a great experience in all omni channels, how to choose the right one best matches the customers. I don't think that we should anything because others are doing. I guess we should do anything because others are doing that. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't suggest to copy competitors just because they're doing that. So if your competitors are providing social customer service with or via Facebook, well, just use just what I just said. So engage your customers, use surveys to listen and to learn what they really want, and listen what they're saying on social networks. So listen what they desire, what they're looking for in terms of service, and engage them and really ask them directly, would you like a different channel? Choose what's the digital channel that you'd like to have to interact and get support, and maybe provide 2 or 3 options, and you get a more focused idea. Because the risk is to say we choose a digital or social channels that we like or which is aligned with our goals, but maybe it's not very commonly used by our customers. So I make an example. Here in Italy, still few people use Twitter, right? So that's why most of the brands start with Facebook for social customer service. But with some exceptions, as for telcos here in Italy, many customers use Twitter to get support. So you need to get information and insights and to engage your customers, and then mix all the feedbacks with your goals, and then go straight and test. So I suggest you to start when volumes are still slow. Make your mistakes and learn. So can we go on to the next one? All right. Sorry, I'm not hearing your voice, Abraham. Can you hear mine?
Yeah, no, I can hear. I just muted.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So these are, five questions about, ideas on the reason why would you like to choose the channel. So as I just mentioned them, we can go on, as we'll be sending all the slides to the attendees. Let's go to the next one. Oh, that's what I like. That's what I love. Having good solutions and tools is important, but at the same time, we need to build a social customer service team. What I usually say that even if you've got excellent customer service assistants providing support on the phone or email, they do not necessarily are good enough to deal with customers publicly on social networks. Dealing with customers on social networks implies having different skills, specific skills that need to be detected and then also well trained. So the first big difference between handling customers on the phone or via Facebook, for instance, is that when you deal with Facebook or social networks, you need to be very good at writing. So not all the good customer service assistants that are excellent in replying verbally are excellent replying when they need to write, and vice versa, of course. So we need to look for people that are, use social networks, are very good at writing. We'll see specific skills in the next slides, but what we need to do is to look at our customer service department, to look on and focus on our call center, and to search and to hire 3, 4, 5 people to build the first social customer service team. So we can go to the next one, which is also the need to say, okay, I don't need to hire new people. I just need to work on the people I got in my customer service or call center, and I need to know how to hire them, because all the criteria that I always use to hire people that are dealing with customers on the phone or email are not good enough. I need to change for you. So that's why we need to the next, we go, sorry, to the next slides, where I just summed up the main skill set that you need to look for when you need to hire a social customer service agent. And I also added some, rating, talking about reviews, from 1 to 3 stars to gauge relevance, to give importance in terms of topics. So 1 is not important, 3 stars is very, very important. I would say crucial. So the first characteristic is listening. So even though we don't have a verbal contact, a verbal conversation, because we type when we use social channels, we need to read between the lines. We need to be able to listen without hearing the voice of our customers. So we need to detect the tone of voice of our customers from the very first tweet, from the very first question via Facebook. So if we're able to detect that sentiment, their idea, their tone of voice, we're able to tune on that, sentiment, and able to reply accordingly, avoiding misunderstandings or other problems. The other important skill is excellent writing skills. Excellent writing skills on social mean being able to write in a very clear and concise way, but also complete. So clear and concise is good, but do not avoid all the important information. So if the customer made a consideration, explain the thought, and then ask you questions, make sure that in your reply you answer to his or her question. And then maybe the most important skill you need to have or need to be trained is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is also the ability not only to interpret it, to detect customer sentiment and tone of voice, but also the ability to know what to respond and how to respond, especially when when the customer has an aggressive tone, when maybe he or she provokes you, or sometimes he or she might insult you. So you need to be stable, and you need to understand that he or she is talking not to you, he or she is talking to your brand, and you need to be very calm and know how to use the water to stop the fire. Otherwise, if you are not able to control the emotions, or you just give a wrong questions, you may also find customers raging, and other customers trying to helping the customers that got maybe your nervous answer. If our customer service assistant knows and use social media is good, he or she's got public speaking experiences, it's good, but it's not necessary, because these are things that can be taught. But one thing is that he or she, your customer service assistant, shall be a very good communicator. So we cannot be too much formal when we write to our customers using social networks. We need to speak to the same level. We don't need to to stand up and say, okay, we're the brand, we're more important than you. We need to use the same tone of voice, and we need to be very smart, informal yet professional. Remember to stay professional. So being smart and informal doesn't mean saying we're using slang, of course. Okay, we're not too funny. We're funny when you can allow yourself to be funny, when the customer is already happy. But always be professional. You represent the brand, and you represent the brand publicly. So being calm and not impulsive, it recalls and comes back to emotional intelligence, and then also business acumen, because as good conversations on socials lead sometimes to great happiness by customers, they might ask you at the end of your conversation on social more information about your products and services, and you might provide them, sometimes it happens, provide them with links to get information or to buy products and services. That's why also the good and important thing is that you get leads, you can sell products and services thanks to an excellent social customer service. So if there are not questions, we can go on.
Yeah, I actually have something that I'd like to ask you.
Right.
You know, it's when you're dealing with this type of a channel, it's sometimes it's hard to understand what people are saying. They leave out words or they misspell words, and you're not quite sure. How do you manage that?
Well, I always suggest my clients that if your assistant are not sure that they really understood the question, just ask the customer. Just rewrite and say, I'm not sure if I understood your question, or I understood that. Is that right? So before, taking a direction, if you're in front of sliding doors, just ask the customers if we understand well, or just repurpose the what you understood and say, if I understand well, you need that kind of thing. You need that kind of services, right? And if you're not wrong, if you're wrong, the customers will tell you, but you won't be nervous because you didn't just choose the wrong way. You ask them first if you're going the right way. That's what I suggest for training.
Yeah, I think that's important because if you don't get that right, you can it can cost a lot of time.
Yeah.
I have another question here. It's my wife. She says, "Great suggestion." She says, "Is it possible to train team members to be more emotionally intelligent?"
Yes, it is. We must do that. I put emotional intelligence at the top list of the training that I do for clients. And in fact, the next step we're going to face in the next slide is especially training. So we can move on to the next slide, because training plays a crucial role after we decide. Oh, sorry, just an example before talking about training. I just want to show you a great example. This is an Irish bank, a light Irish bank, of showing your team. So once you got your team, the customers do not have real conversations with voice, are not able to see what are your faces. So you can start building empathy, showing your team's faces and explaining on the top left of this Twitter handle what are your business hours for customer service, and what other informations you can find at our link. So the first thing you need to do when you provide social customer service is to let people know. Use your Twitter handle or your Facebook brand to say, okay, this page is also for customer service. We're here to help you from 9 to 5 or 24/7. You can ask that kind of information. If you can find this information, use this link. Just don't use your home page. Use your knowledge base where you got your FAQs and all the information that can help you people, right? This is just a good example I wanted to show you. And because you need also to create empathy to show your people's faces, because the customers won't see you, right? So now we can move to the training. So we got the faces. We selected these wonderful 4 guys. We got our social customer service team. Now we need to train them, because even though they got some qualities, they got some skills, they need to be trained. Let's go. Right. We need to train them. We need to train them, and of course, we need to to focus on, firstly, the channel we're going to use. So if we decided to integrate Facebook, we need to train them on Facebook. And the tone of voice you need to use on Facebook, because moving from one social networks to another implies using different tone of voices. And you need also to combine the tone of voice that customers use on Facebook, for instance, with the tone of voice that your brand wants to use on Facebook. So we need to set also first our guidelines, our tone of voice, and then train our team so that they will have a common tone of voice. Because one of the first negative effects is offering or delivering social customer service with different behaviors. So everybody's got their personality, and that's fine. So we as customers, we don't like to receive robotic answers. But at the same time, when I deal with Mary, or with John, they got different personalities, but I need to feel the same tone of voice of the brand. I need to feel that I speak to the same brand. I need to feel the same reliability. I need to feel the same efficiency and productivity. So we need to train. I suggest clients, and I also provide clients with a 3-step training. That's why we can move to the next slide where I show you how to do. Oh, before that, just an example. So when your staff is not trained for customer service, you provide such awful answers. You take it personally and you reply emotionally. Never do that. Never take it personally, never reply emotionally. But if you've not been trained, you may reply, oh, sorry for your issue. Do you want to reach out for help, or just looking to publicly shame us, to provoke? And that's, like adding fuel to the fire. This was just a nice example of what you should never do. So let's move to the 3-step of the training, because since you're introducing new topic, new ways, and new information for your social customer service agent, you need, of course, to have a moment in your classroom for training, for tone of voice, how to use Facebook or Twitter and stuff like that. But you need also to make a follow-up after a few weeks in order to verify if not only they understood, but how are they applying all the things that you said during the training. What are the first best practice that they're facing, or what are the bad responses that are giving that are not positive? So what are doing good, or what are doing bad? So learn from the first mistakes and then move to a third phase, which is not just in a classroom, but what I suggest you to do, and what I usually do in the third fine-tuning moment, is to meeting all people, everybody within the team, doing a sort of speed date, checking for every single person of the team what are their main issues, what the things that they're doing very well, what they're finding easy in their new job as social customer assistants, what their biggest issues or struggles they're facing, and so that we can also work individually and make, of course, exercise and test to verify if we're moving all towards the same direction, or if somebody has got specific problems that need to be solved. That's why fine-tuning means also coaching. Even if after a couple of years you've got a social customer service team, maybe it's even growing in terms of numbers from 3 to 5 to 10 or 20 people, you need to constantly coach your team, because customers' behavior change, digital platforms change, and you need also to look for new ways to give the good questions. So are we able to reduce the number of answers to provide the same solution to our customers? So it's a work in progress when we embrace social customer service, even if we're doing very well after a couple of years. All right, let's go to the next point. Right, I just mentioned that you need to train your social customer service team in terms also of guidelines and procedures. So define some words that your team shall say. Define other words that they shall never say. So the famous do's and don'ts. You need to set also specific procedures when they deal with customers in a public environment, social networks, or other procedures and guidelines, not only for your social teams. So what I'm talking about is within the next slide. So guidelines and procedures are important for your team, but not only for them. Let's watch the next one. Right, so we got a social media policy. We need to set a social media policy, and we need to teach our social media policy to our social customer service team. So how should they behave? How should they respond in specific circumstances? Which words it's better to use in specific situations? Which are the words they should they never use. And then we also need guidelines for internal communication, because the social customer service team is a frontline team, but sometimes the customer asks questions that they're not able to answer because they need to get information from other departments, maybe information from the finance team, from the IT team, from the marketing team. So we need to build also a very good internal communication system, both either in terms of digital platforms, either in terms of procedures, so that we, the social customer service team get receive the question, is able to find and to ask for the information internally and get promptly the information and give it the answer to the final customer, especially when the question is must be dealt by other departments. And then the other guideline is very important, is for our guests, for our customers. So if you invite people to your house, you don't want people putting their boots on your table, right? So you need to tell your customers what's been accepted, what's the good behavior, what are the bad behaviors, what do you tolerate, what you don't tolerate using our Facebook brand page. So you need also to write an etiquette for customers. So this is a customer service page. Feel free to ask us information 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, for instance. Feel free to ask information, but do not use bad words and other kind of negative words that we cannot accept for ourselves and for the community. And we also inform in the etiquette our customers that if they will ignore this, this etiquette, we will may decide to remove your comment or remove the question if it contains unacceptable words. By doing so, you inform also the other people, other customers, that you're not doing censorship. You just try to keep the community clean. So you need to work on social media policies, do's and don'ts for your social customer service team. Good internal communication, so sit around your table with our departments and decide how to communicate, improve efficient internal communication, and then write your etiquette on your social networks, on your social pages. Right. So we can move to the next one. Okay, these are do's and don'ts. We can move also to another one. All right, let's go to the anti-crisis plan. So I use these two funny pictures because when you've got a crisis on social media, so crisis may take place when you got many customers affected at the same moment by the same issue or other reason. So you got a steady increase of volume of negative comments or critics on your Facebook or social or Twitter pages, and you can react in different ways. So you can react saying, "Oh my God, that's crazy! How can I do that?" Like the Star Trek picture, or you can react using the plan that you prepared. So if you got a plan, if you already decided who's in charge to listen what's been said for social listening, and what to do when you got a growing number, a steady number of complaining or criticism online, you need to know who is going to answer, when, how, and which channels. So you got a plan to prevent that the fire extend to all the wood. So you intervene promptly, and you know what to do to avoid that the fire becomes a huge wildfire. So just to give you an example, a very positive way to handle and to prevent a negative situation, prevent a crisis, is what I personally experienced with the brand. So we can go to the next one. Using Canva, I use Canva to use graphic for these presentations or other speeches that I do in Italy or abroad. And I remember that I had an issue just the day before my speech here in Milan, and because they had a specific problem with their servers, if I'm not wrong. But the good thing is that as I, realized that they had an issue, so I couldn't access their website, I just checked their Twitter account and I realized that they were already aware of it because they published a tweet informing that they were informed about the issue, they were investigating the issue, and that we could also use a specific link in the same tweet to report our issue as customer. So because they do great social listening, they react very fast and they already knew what to do. Inform the people that they know there's a big issue. Inform the people, the customers, that they're working to find the reason of this issue, and at the same time, with the same message, giving the opportunity to customers to report specific their issue. And then after a few minutes, after 30 minutes, I received another message on the right-hand side of this slide, informing me what was going and what they were doing to solve this issue. And after this one, I received a final email explaining what's happened, what was the reason of the issue, what did they do, and what they're trying to do to avoid such cases in the future. I think this is a very good approach to crisis prevention, right? Of course, any kind of information in such cases needs to include also apologies. But first, give information, then apologize, of course, in the same message. So we can go to the eighth step, which is omnichannel platforms. Somebody asked Abraham previously about omnichannel platforms. There are several omnichannel platforms that enable brands to integrate social channels, instant messaging apps, email, some of them also phone, so that you got a whole, just one dashboard like the slides you're seeing, a unique dashboard including different incoming messages as per channel. And this is very good because having just one dashboard is important to let your social customer service team work very well, but let you work as customer service manager better to have real-time reports and feedbacks and analysis. So this is very my clients to do when it comes to deal with different channels. So you may start with just investing in digital platforms to deal with customers via email and Twitter, and then you can also introduce new channels or introduce new people within the team that will use this platform. We can go to the next slide, please, Abraham. Because from the dashboard, the good platforms let you have a very easy, intuitive engagement, so a very user-friendly for our social customer service assistant, and people are able to deal and engage with customers from the same dashboard, regardless of the channel, and they will have a data enrichment system, so that we'll have the contact history of the credit history of contacts with customers, so we can read if the same customer asked us the same questions previously, or what did he or she ask us previously on using different channels. And also we can tag the conversations with sentiment, also to track the sentiment movement. So you can convert and start from a complaint and conclude a conversation increasing from a negative to a positive sentiments. You can also track sentiment conversion. You can do a lot of things. You can do, of course, you can facilitate your social customers service team work, dealing everything within the same platform. And you can get, of course, very interesting reporting. So the next slide about this platform example, this is just an example, of course, talks about reporting analytics. So the best in class social customer service platforms enable managers not only to get statistics per team, but also per single person and per single channel. So you got very in-depth statistic reporting and analytics in real time or almost real time, maybe with half an hour or 1 hour delay. And this kind of reporting analytics, it should include and always include social listening. So before working on engaging with customers, you may start to invest on a digital platform to use the social listening tool within the platform to listen what's been said about your brand or your competitors, and then open up the other side of the platform, engaging. So this is a very common step-by-step approach that many brands, at least here in Italy, do when they start embracing social customer service. Do we have enough time for the very last step?
Sure. I have a question from Mildred. She was kind enough to give us her name here, so I don't have to call her M. Hi, Mildred. Welcome. Welcome. She says a single sign-on solution helps be more efficient. I'm looking for one that will allow my CS team to answer Facebook inquiries straight to the Facebook wall, so that we avoid having social media vendor referring everything via direct messaging. So far, I've only found one app. Any suggestions? Thank you, Mildred.
Well, Mildred asked, thank you, Mildred. She asked a very technical question, single sign-on. I know many different vendors, okay? Some of them are American, some of them are European, but most of them include the single sign-on feature, right? Which is an important feature to have for such needs. Of course, what I do when I do some scouting to choose digital platforms for my clients to find 3 or 4 options, the first thing that I do is to work with the client to write down all their specific needs in terms of channels, needs, reporting, statistics, budget, and stuff like that. So just to give you an idea, Abraham, sometimes we've got an Excel file with 33 or 35 lines just in terms of, the clients' requirements for platforms. But one of them is surely the single sign-on feature. I would also add the data enrichment feature that allows you to build the identity of our customers conversation after conversation. So we got an email first, or a Facebook message, and then a Twitter, and step by step we got, the identity of our customers that's been enriched. And also we got also the number of followers, the number of the influence that our customer or maybe journalist may have. So we can build workflows in terms of priority, not only in terms of language, but other specific workflows. Right. This is a very important step. Just let me tell you, this is a very important step, and this is one of the most that need to work a lot of time with brands to look for what they really need in terms of specific features. Right. Then we can go to the very last one.
Would you have some names of some companies that
No, I don't like to do it, because I've been asked almost every day. But it's just like ask me what's the name of a good insurance company. Well, it depends on your needs. So I've got some names in my mind, of course, but those names might not be good for you because I don't know about your brand, about your industry, about your needs, about your current tools, about your stuff. Maybe you didn't have a customer service. So there are many other variable criteria that need to be considered to do that kind of work. But I will be happy to help people with that.
Makes perfect sense.
No problem. So we got to the very last point, the very last step, which is the ROI. Right. Okay. Well, my advice is pretty clear. So when you need to check if your investment is good, if you've got results on investment because you invested in buying a digital platform, you invested on people because you hired within your customer service team 3, 4, 5 people. You invested money on training to train them. You invested time and money. You need to measure your results. Talking about social customer service, let me tell you that you won't see any strong results before 6-8 months, right? You'll see the first results after 6-8 months. You've already implemented your omni-channel platforms, but then you'll be able, of course, to start monitoring from the first day you go live. And what do you need to measure? You need to measure different things comparing to a customer as a call center environment. First of all, I suggest you to monitor just what you really need. So stick to your goals and get rid of all the KPIs that are not in line with your goals. So when you get to the 9 steps, so come back to the first one. What are the goals that you set at the first step? So watch your goals and then define the KPIs and the metrics you really need to monitor progression on that specific goals. Just to give you an example of social conversations, we got another slide, which is, I think, the very last one, to show you how some metrics are good, but some other are not enough. This example show you that we got a customer asking a question using social networks, and we got a very fast reply by the brand after 10 minutes. But that response was not enough, so the customer asked another question within the same conversation, because maybe the answer was not clear enough, or he or she just needed more information. But the second answer provided by the brand was provided after 60 minutes. So if we just focus and we just measure, the first response time is great, just 10 minutes. But we need also in this case to measure the average time, which is 35 minutes. If we just focus on average response time, we might think that it's good 35 minutes, but it's generally it could be. But if we consider that the second questions, which is the second time the customers needed to make an effort to get his problem solved, he needed or had to wait 60 minutes, 1 hour to get the information. This is not good. So you need to create what I call a sort of a KPI mix to check not only how quick, how fast you're able to provide the first question, but also how fast are you provide the second or the third one. And what I suggest you, a very important metric for social customer service, is the first contact resolution. So if you got, for instance, 100 incoming messages, how many of them are you able to solve and to provide a solution with just the first answer? So I am aware of the fact that some issues needed more investigation, so you need to answer twice or sometimes thrice. But some other cases, you just need to be clear and complete from the very first answer, and you need to strive to close in a very positive way the conversation just given the first questions. Because just remember that the customers that use social networks, not only they accept very fast responses, but they expect fast solutions. So this is a just very short example to give you an idea of what to build KPIs mix on quality, service, and other stuff. This is another big job work that I do with my clients when we need to look for the platform criteria, not only in terms of digital feature, but also what can we measure using the platform. Because if we buy a solution which is great for some things, but that platform will not allow us to use and select the KPIs we really need, that would not be a good investment. So just to sum up, 20 seconds, just to sum up all the 9 steps. If we move to the very last slide, we got our 9 steps. I know this is pretty a long story. I will make this long story short. So we need to set our goals. We need to do some social listening to listen to what our customers and competitors are saying about our brands and about our competitors, learn from what's been said. Then we can choose the channel or the channels we need to integrate. Then we need to hire within our customer service or call center as first a small team of specific or highly skilled people. We need to train them, of course, and training means also giving them all the guidelines. The guidelines and procedures must be taught to the team, but also be given also to other departments to improve internal communication. And also guidelines include the netiquette, all the rules, the behavioral rules for customers using our social channels. Then we need also to be prepared for crisis, for problems, for issues affecting many customers at the same time, so we are able to react quickly and be proactive to work and avoid any kind of fire and to mitigate problems. Then we need to invest on the platform. We just mentioned these points, and I won't be stuck on it. And then we need to set the proper KPIs mix to be sure that we constantly monitor our progresses. So that's it, and I will be happy if we got a few minutes to answer the Q&A session.
Okay, that was fabulous. I think this is a very important topic. I know I use social media as a last resort when I'm not able to get any resolve anywhere else, because you just hit a brick wall. So you go start looking on social media, see if somebody can help you, and usually you can find somebody. They might not even be customer service. They just are in the company and they're appalled at what they heard. And so let me see what I can do for you. I mean, I'm working right now. There was something, and I don't want to mention the company. I don't like to mention companies because I'm hoping they'll hear this and improve. And terrible. I mean, they're just hurting their customers through a terrible policy. I reached out to the CEO, and I was all kinds of people in their company, and it was just hitting brick walls. Nothing was happening. Finally, I had to, use a little weight, throw a little weight around, going, listen, I have a network of over 300,000 people here. I really would like to write nice things about your company. Would you like me to do that? I'm implying that the opposite could be true too. The CEO all of a sudden shows up going, how can I help you? I says, well, this is what, with the situation. Well, just send me the information. I'll take care of it. This is already 2 months later. Hasn't done anything. Right. This is just, it's terrible, but, but the point is that the social media allowed me to be able to get through to people that I would not normally be able to get in touch with. I'm not done with these people yet. I've just sort of been trying to be very nice and patient and, but still you can apply pressure.
Yeah. And customers use social networks to add pressure on brands. That's clear.
Right. Yeah, it's true. And rightly so. However, there is a responsibility of the customer to be honest and, and fair, even though they might be upset. Being upset's okay as long as you are not going over the line. I saw a case in, that the company sued a person because they bashed them on social media, and the company lost money, and the company that was being bashed won, because while what happened, I do believe that the company should have reacted differently. However, the person that was bashing them on social media took it way too far. They exaggerated and they started to really take it to a different level. So, integrity is an important part. We as customers have a responsibility also to behave ourselves, even though we're upset, but proper behavior is always good, in both directions. So, any questions here? We're open for questions now. And we have that Twitter handle if you're having trouble getting onto the chat wing here, or you can send me an email at abraham@cxsuccesssummit.com, or we have a Twitter channel at the hashtag CX Success Summit. You can do that here. And I want to thank Paolo for just amazing presentation. I was, really thought it was fabulous. And we have here Jamie comes in. He says that thank you for the great information. A very important topic for us in customer service to integrate with more strategic focus. Thank you again. Yes, definitely. And then we have Mildred. She comes. She says thank you, Mildred. I suggest you get up with Paolo if you want to find out a good fit for your company. It'd probably be worth it for you to get in touch with him. Where he has it's socialmediascrum.com. You can see he's there.
Sorry, Abram. You can just if you click to the next slide, you everybody can see all the contacts.
Okay,
my LinkedIn, email, and that's it. So you got three options where you can contact me easily.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go, folks. You can easily contact. You can see Paolo is here. He is here to help, and you can see that he does a really great job of that. Just like all the other experts on the CX Success Summit, where they are here to help you. You see that these master classes are not sales pitches; they're real information coming to you. My wife here says very practical lesson. Thank you, sweetheart. That she's always here for our support, and
your wife.
Yeah, she works hard. She really is helping. The backbone of this whole thing. So I want to publicly thank my wife for all her help. So so I was saying is that we have these master classes everyone are welcome to watch that, and the replays when we get to the expert sessions. There's a lot of those. There's like over 35 of those. Those you'll be able to walk. If you have the free pass, you'll be able to watch those for 48 hours, and then they go into the all access pass vault. But these will also go in there as well. It's an incredible amount of information you're getting here for free that you're going to be able to utilize if you want to go deeper into this. We're preparing these deep dive courses. I think I've mentioned those before, where we'll be going real deep into these things, but we're going to be able to get this type of education for you at a fraction of the prices if you would like hire, say, Paolo by yourself. So we're going to do a group type of a course, and that way you'll be able to split up, divide that fee, which you would normally go on a one-on-one. But there's an added benefit to that, is that we also will have a private Facebook group for that particular group. So you guys that want to, work together can support each other. And that's something very, very important to help you to succeed, especially, we have this ability to be able to work globally. So you can work with companies all over the world that are feeling the same way you are and helping each other solve problems. So I recommend to pick up an all summit pass, because there'll be discounts on those courses, as well as we have the bonus box, which is just full of stuff and incredible stuff. For example, we have John Julius is giving away a free ticket to his event, which is like $1,800. We have books. We have, the real books, not the ebooks. We do have ebooks as well, but we have the real books that the authors are sending out all over the world. We have a limited amount of those. You're talking about for $97. It's a steal for all the information that you're getting for this, and it will go up to $197 once that summit starts. So I recommend to go and get your pass now. Hey, Basil. All right, he's here. He says, sorry I missed the first hour because I read the time. I know, it's like the time change. We get this global community here, and in the US it changed. I was shocked because yesterday, almost nobody showed up for mine, and I was kind of feeling sorry for myself, going, oh man, nobody loves me out there, man. Then
that's the harsh truth, Abraham.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I know. So but then Mike Wittenstein, which he will be tomorrow, he's going to be giving you how you're going to be able to sell that CX program to your C-suite. He's really good he's a good communicator. He deals in journey maps mostly. And then we have Chip Bell coming on the following day, which He's the dessert. He came out of a book called Sprinkles, so I figured I'd put him last as the dessert. And then Thursday, we're adding one more thing, and we have one more spot for that. I call it We the People. It is just a group of you folks out there who are in the audience that have been listening and participating. You're invited to come on to the hangout, and we're going to discuss what we learned over the 9 days. I mean, you think about it, you had 9 days of free CX learning. We have some more to go. So this is incredible. Tell your friends about it. You know, there is still time to be able to watch the replays and things before it goes into All Summit Pass. But you still have that, you know, ability to purchase that pass at a very discounted price. And, you know, what can I say? I'm going to leave it at that. That's my sales pitch for now. You can pick that up if you just click one of the buttons on the page that's on the top, or I think it's on the bottom there, that you'll see everything that we're offering in that. Okay, well, we are, we went way over time, which is I'm not really concerned about that. As more as, since, you know, those that couldn't make the whole thing can always catch it later. But this is information that's really important, and Paolo spent a lot of time for you, so it was really valuable. And I want to thank you so much for your time, Paolo.
You're very welcome, Abraham. Hope the audience enjoyed this session.
Oh, I'm sure that they did. And again, if you want to sign up for his deep dive class, just let me know. I'm going to create some. We're working on some forms. You'll be able to learn more about what we be presenting, what the costs are, and things like that. But we have a lot of those that are lined up for you, so you're going to really be able to rock your CX. Remember, the CX, this type of stuff is the rocket fuel that is going to launch your business just way out there beyond your competition. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's about your customer. You're in business only because of the customer. No customer, no business. Or if you just want to have like a mediocre kind of a company, well, you know, then you'll be mediocre at taking care of your customers. But if you want to stay in business, you want to grow your business, and you want the rocket fuel, it's CX. It's the customer experience. That's the bottom line, folks. And I think you agree with me on that, because that's why you're here. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock at Eastern time. Okay. Those of you who haven't changed your time,
check the time, everyone. Check it.
Yeah. Well, I worked it out, so those of us that haven't changed the clocks yet can stay on our same time zone, and those who have, well, you guys, we just moved you up an hour, so I apologize if that's not convenient for you, but we had to decide, how we're going to manage this. So everyone hopefully will be able to, catch these things, but there's always the replay. So Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.